Oh, you got waters? Oh, that's perfect. You got the actual.
Sir.
You should have brought your MB water bottles. You might have those in your office too.
Fuck. But hey, today was Friday. Fridays and Mondays, they could go like
Hit or miss, right?
or just fucking running around. Like,
I just got in here like 30, 40 more, about an hour ago. To us out all day for appointments too. Just gong show. It's the hardest thing for us, especially like we got to go out there, get the deals, and then sit in the office to put them together. Like sometimes
just going off just like, throws you off.
you can't do shit if the phone's going off. And if you miss calls,
You could call back, but it's just like fuck. Cause there's a kid, then you pick it up while you're trying to do something. You get sidetracked. And
yeah.
fuck.
You ready?
Yeah, rolling.
Oh, we're already rolling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Master Your Life podcast, where we get connected with entrepreneurs, business owners, and people that are achieving self-mastery by mastering their life and their road to success. Today, we have one of my good friends, MANRAJ Bains, with MB Real Estate Group, turning relationships into other way around, turning transactions into relationships. Very important point. 200 million plus producer. We are top 10 real estate team for 3 to 7 people worldwide. Remax Lifetime and Hall of Fame Award. Welcome, MANRAJ.
Thanks for having me, Sonny.
Thanks for coming back again, man. We had to re it up again. You know, we did it a couple of years ago during a different market and a different look as well for both of us. So we went to the gym for a couple of years.
Yeah, the stomach's not sticking out this time.
So we're back at it again. You know, this is the first question I always ask people. Why did you choose a career in real estate?
That's, you know.
A $200 million question this time.
No, I chose you know what? I was looking at multiple different avenues at that time, switching from, you know, business to criminology to, okay, I'm going to go to BCIT and do this. And then just this fear around me, seeing guys in real estate, not as realtors, but as developers or builders, and seeing what they were doing and achieving. I wasn't there to get in and start construction right away because it takes, you know, X amount of money in your pockets to go ahead and do something like that. And it was like, but I want to be a part of real estate, something to do with it. So, you know, I picked up my laptop one day and registered for the UBC Solder School Business Real Estate course. And I was like, you know what, we're going to do this. Yeah. That's just kind of just finding, you know, and it was even at that point, I was like, let's give her a go and see, because I've heard it's not an easy career. It is challenging. You know, people come in and out. You know, the turnaround rate's so high, et cetera. So you always hear the negativity, you know, around any career before you actually step into it. And it's not an easy career, but it was something that I took as a challenge and stuck by it. So
absolutely, man. And you didn't even go into, you know, I'm not going to say, I don't mean to say just residential, but you went from residential to development. Now that's actually a different animal from what I've understood, and different beasts and different type of clientele and different numbers and different loads of stress as well. What made you decide to make the shift from residential to say, you know what, I'm going over here? What was that turning point in your mind that said, I'm going to do this now?
You know what? I started off doing residential. Yeah. Couple of years of it. And just the opportunity, the people you're around, again, it comes back to that, learning, sitting down with certain people. They're trying to pick your brain. You don't know what the answer is. Going in and learning, okay, what is all this? What are they talking about, right?
So it was just supposed to make you wanted to know more about it because it was something you're not used to, right?
It was something I wasn't knowledgeable about. Okay. You know, when you go into real estate, you think you're going to sell a house and that's it. Right? You hire a marketing team and so on and so forth, and you put it on MLS, you go do some open houses, and you get an offer. You're like, oh man, that's exciting. And then you start sitting down with people with extensive knowledge. You know, they've been doing this for years, and you're like, what is this? What's an NCP? You know, someone's asking you about frontage or these random questions at that time.
Zoning and all that, right?
Zoning and, you know, area this, area that, and you're looking at these people like, yeah, I know what that is, but I didn't know nothing about it, right? So sitting at City Hall, I think we talked about this last time too, and you should go there, pick the planners' brains, and I just found it way more interesting than selling a house. And we still sell residential real estate. I'm not saying we don't sell real estate residential, but our main focus is on the development side. I love learning, and there's always changes to it, and so that's what kind of geared me to it. And then when you do your first deal, and that number, it's an addiction, right? So
I can imagine, right?
So
the
that
new level, right?
It comes back down to that, right? And then like, okay, what's the right word here? Not entice, but what motivates you, right? And it's not even about the commission check.
Yeah.
It's about, you want to be the guy that sells that piece of land, right?
Right. The gratification you're getting from just that sale and actually learning the process, the growth that you had with that as well.
Exactly.
Right? Nice. Okay. Can you share a pivotal moment in your career or your personal life that made you decide to say, you know what, I need to make a change in my life to get into this business, whether it's in real estate, or you said, I'm going to make a change in my life to take it to the next level with my real estate career, whether it could be, a health thing, a family thing, or it could just be a personal reason.
Getting married young.
Getting married young. How old were you when you got married?
24.
That is young.
Yeah.
That is
so
well,
I actually got licensed.
Nowadays. Yeah.
Even then, everyone's like, oh, you're getting married. That's okay. I was 22, 23 engaged.
Yeah. I got married 24. Okay.
I got married at 24, so that brings on responsibility. And you sit back and you're like, okay, I was doing part-time school, part-time working at a warehouse, just trying to figure things out. And I just went, like I said, wrote that exam, worked part-time, and then my managing broker had a talk with me. He's like, if you want to do this, you got to go, all in.
Yeah.
So then I quit my job.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm all in now, right?
And what was that job?
I was working at Best Buy.
Distribution
center. No, not the warehouse.
At the warehouse. Okay, so you're going from that straight into real estate.
Yeah, but I was jumping around in school as well, right?
Yes,
Cortland
that's right.
and Douglas, and I'm thinking I'm going to be CIT, but I wasn't really putting my...
It wasn't just pulling you,
the
right?
effort wasn't there. I was just like, I'm doing it trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So it was always that, just trying to figure it out is like the best word.
I think I know what you mean.
Right? So like, I was just hopping around, but I was working at the same time too. So it wasn't just like, okay, I'm not doing anything and I'm just wasting money going to school. But it was like, okay, what do I really want to do?
Did you feel like, this is off the chart here, right? Did you feel like a certain time in your life that, you know what, the road that you were heading on, you kind of already knew that this is not the way I want to go. I got to change this to do something myself, like into entrepreneurship, which is what you are right now.
A lifestyle.
The lifestyle's what you always wanted.
Right. Not just what I wanted, but it's like, do you want to, it comes back to how you see your future.
Yeah.
Right. You're restricted to how much you can make when you're working 9 to 5s.
Mm-hmm.
You could do so much overtime. You can't do, just be like, okay, I'm going to work a 24-hour shift now on a daily basis. That's just unrealistic, right? So you kind of cap yourself off at a certain point doing so. So it's always like, okay, how am I going to do what I want to do?
Yeah.
And what can I do to do that?
Right.
Right. So.
Okay. And do you feel like during this time you had any naysayers in your life? Like people were like, oh, you can't do that. MANRAJ, stay here. What's the point? Or anything like that you felt like you had to overcome, or mostly support?
But everyone's like, such a challenge. Remember, like, going back to that, it's such a big challenge. People fail at this all the time.
Right. Okay.
And it's just like, I'm going to do it. We'll see.
Yep.
Right. I could always go back and find a job in a warehouse if I was going to do that. Right. It wasn't like, oh, I'm leaving a job that's paying me 6 figures and now I'm going to step foot into real estate. Right.
Yeah.
And try to figure it out.
Right.
It was like, okay, I could always go back to that. Right.
You threw yourself in the fire at a relatively young age too. Like at 24, you're like, I'm gonna make this move right. Oh, so you got married at 24.
I got married at 24. I got licensed when I was 24 as well.
Okay, so yeah,
23.
back to back.
Yeah,
married a big jump there.
Yeah,
then like I'm jumping into this.
6 months later, but I still kept my job part time.
Just check. Okay, got it.
But
okay.
I was working early, and I was trying to bounce back on both, and I wasn't putting. You'd be tired after work, and it's like, okay, you're not putting your full potential into this job.
Yeah.
So then it was at that point I talked to a managing broker, and he's like, just go all in. So
was there some stressful times? Like,
always.
Like, for example, like I remember with myself, there were some times that there was no money coming in the next 3-4 months. And you're thinking, shit, what am I going to do? But at the same time, did you have those type of days or months or moments?
My wife was working full time, so
yeah,
it helped.
Yeah.
Credit lines.
So you did have it, but you had ways to
and living at home, right?
Yes. Okay.
So that was a huge help. Is not having that mortgage stress. you have your vehicle, but
Yeah.
you know, your wife's working, you take a credit line to start your marketing or whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the beginning, it's like, well, you do one sale, you think it's going to keep rolling. And you're
Yeah.
like, nothing. Did I make the right decision?
You're like, was that a what I wonder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to keep throwing the ball against the wall, right? It's going to stick at some point. So.
Awesome. Okay, let's talk a little bit about land development. This is what you're in, right? So, with land development, where do you see the future the next 10 years? In terms of immigration, construction, like what do you think the needs are in 10 years? What do you think the landscape will look like in 10 years? I know it's not that long in the developmental world, but what do you think that's going to look like? Are this duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, or is it going to be condos like in Surrey, Lower Mainland area?
I think we all, we know we're facing a housing crisis. I don't have to tell anybody.
Yeah.
It's all over the news, housing crisis. We're behind X amount of homes. Only this is going to be built, et cetera, et cetera. Here locally, the provincial legislations are changing. Densities, like you said, duplex, triplex, they haven't been fully rolled out yet. So for me to just say, oh, this is what's going to happen, I can't say so, right? Because it hasn't been rolled out properly yet. But density increases are coming. I think all the municipalities are backing them. Right here where we're sitting right now, Langley, along 200th, everything's going up.
It is.
Right? So better transit systems. We're going to see a lot more build up now, I think. Whereas a few years back, even talking to developers now, everyone's like, go find a condo project. Affordability.
That's the number one thing.
Number one thing is affordability. You know it, you're in the mortgage game. It all comes down to affordability, right? We live in an area where land is scarce, right? We can only build so much land that's usable. I'd say, we're surrounded by mountains, oceans. There's a lot of wetland, creeks. So you have to look at that, how much of it's usable. Sometimes you drive by, like, oh my God, this piece is so nice.
Yeah.
And you get into it, goes a creek running through it. There's wetland on it.
Yeah.
This 10-acre parcel, only 2 acres is usable.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And then you put a park in it, and it's how much density are you going to get on 2 acres? So there are, compared to other parts of Canada where, it's flat land, you go in and you're building hundreds of homes, it's easier, right? The landscape's a little bit different. Here we do, I think it's a huge variable actually, is the type of land we have here and, the wetland.
That's
and
a really
creeks,
good point. Now,
right? So you have to keep, and slopes, right?
Okay.
So we're in a very hilly area, right? So now you're always working with steep slopes or, the hilled area. The grade's not the best, whereas you're dealing with flat land and you just go ahead and boom.
Like Alberta, areas of Alberta.
Yeah, huge. Like you talk to people, they're buying acres and 100-acre parcels and go in and they're just, house after house after house, however they want to do it, right? But we can't do that same thing here.
Now, how much of, okay, that's a really good point because I never thought about that. Of course, that's not my expertise. So how much of it is it actually land restrictions and city or municipal restrictions that are impacting us? Which one's worse, would you say? I know that's a difficult question.
That's a difficult question. Well, the land it is what it is. That's our landscape. We can't do anything about that.
Yes, can't change that.
So if there's a creek running there, you're not going to build a house 2 feet away from the creek. It's going to topple over one day and it's going to be in the creek, right? So those kind of restrictions, regulations have to be there. When it comes to municipalities, is it the amount of applications going through and they can't, process them quick enough? I don't know. Well, obviously, we're going to hear from the developer side. Oh, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything.
They're
right?
holding on to applications.
But
right?
the wait times are getting longer and longer, which the province has stepped in now. It seems like, let's see how what turns around, and they're saying we're going to get rid of this, we're going to get rid of that, the red tape, etc. We're yet to see it, but hopefully, right?
They've said it a lot of times before, right?
Yeah, but then you do that and you look back at, okay, but now we're going to increase densities. So when you're a developer, you're like, okay, I have 10 single-family lots here, but now the municipality's coming back to you and saying, hey, and the province, we're going to densify this. So then you stall, right? Because you want to make the best out of your piece of land.
So you're waiting. A lot of people.
So you wait
to see what's going to happen.
To see what's going to happen. So it's very interesting. Like that question that you just threw at me, right? Is the landscape we can't do anything about. Is it just the municipalities? Is it the developers? Obviously, developers want to push through because the banks are sitting there waiting. Hey, we need to see your third reading. We need to see you move this project forward. But as a developer, I'm going to get extra 200,000 square feet on my piece of land, I'm going to hold back.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah, naturally. So I'm getting free density. Yeah, there's CACs involved in it, but that's just a small portion to pay for the density that you're going to get.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, ultimately, if they do wait, unfortunately, right now it doesn't help out the market, but the density could help out people for affordability.
Correct. But that we need to be building, right?
True.
Construction has to happen for us to, somewhat close the gap on the amount of homes we need,
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge, you could keep giving densities on paper, but if there's not being constructed, we're not closing the gap.
Yeah. So it's end up being more of a delay, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
You're setting it back in a way.
So that in a sense, we got 6 months or 5 months till they give us an announcement. So 5 months people are holding on to their parcels, in a sense, if they let it happen. Or
there's
until they
like
find
total
out.
NCPs getting pulled back. That topic you're talking about with the duplex, triplex, that's going to affect single family lots that are, older homes, from what my understanding is. The newer lots that are already, ready to build, yes, people may hold back because there's an and if there. If I'm going to get a duplex on my lot or a single home, I want to get that duplex, right? Because the margins are tight. Land values are, skyrocketed. We've seen a setback on end value prices. So until we know where, we sit with these prices, you don't even want to move forward, right?
Yeah. It's too many things in the up in the air right now, right?
Correct.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your sales skills and real estate. In your opinion, actually, sorry, that's not the right question here. What's the number one skill somebody needs to acquire to become a great realtor in the developmental space? Number one skill. Is it patience? Is it sales? Is it communication?
I think it comes down to communication skills and patience.
Okay.
You need a lot of patience in this. You can't get frustrated. It's not like you're dealing with a 7-day subject. You're dealing with 30, 60, 90, 120 days. 2-year closes. Sometimes they don't even close. What are you going to sit there? It is what it is, right? And you learn. So, so don't count your pennies before they're in your bank account.
Yeah.
And it happens, man. Markets change, and you got to look at, from their perspective as well.
Yeah.
You've overpaid for something. You've given a decent deposit, but that piece of land's not worth it at that time, and you could probably buy it back for a little bit cheaper. Why not? Right?
Good point.
You can't take it to heart, and I've learned it, I guess, the hard way. When you've already okay, I've closed this, and it causes frustration. You're what the fuck? It didn't close, right?
Yeah.
But you have to then turn around and look at the perspective of the buyer.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Full circle in a sense, right? I remember you and I were talking earlier about this, that, last couple of years, we've seen a really shift in the market. Prices went from the all-time peak. They have come down, but some people say they've stabilized. Some have similar to a couple of years ago. But the biggest change that I heard from your conversation with you was that a lot of people that were working with, let's just say, inexperienced people came back to you that said, hey, you know what, Manraj, we didn't expect this. We were just working with somebody that wasn't experienced in developmental land. We overpaid. We bought the wrong properties, and we want you to help us now. Like, what was that like having that experience with people? Like, what were some of the things that you would be hearing from people that were trying to sell, that negative things that they may have gone through, that you guys were helped to mitigate some of those risks with your experience?
It comes down to timing, right? Single family, multifamily, doesn't matter what you're dealing with. People rush into things, right? I think you should, especially, and I'm not sitting here trying to say all the realtors know what they're doing.
No, of course, we're just
none
saying
of that sort of stuff. It's just sometimes you get pushed into purchasing something, and the market fell. That's not in anybody's control. It could have kept rising, then they'd be like, "Oh, we won again."
Exactly.
It comes down to knowing, right, what you're going to get on it. Or, we're not 100% accurate. We don't know. You go back, and there could be a setback that we were unaware of, that, they lost a unit or so. But I think at that time what ended up happening was people purchased in the heat of the market.
Heat of the moment type of thing, right?
Heat of the moment.
Yeah.
And they pull triggers without knowing. So that's all we say. Always do your due diligence. Know what you're selling, or know what you're buying. In that case, right? A lot of people that were building 1 or 2 houses thought they're going to go into multifamily because they made a good buck on their single family homes, and you have the means to do so. But then again, inexperience on the development side, that's where people were getting bit, right?
Overzealous, right? Basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was the main thing that I remember from our conversation before. Let's see. All right, is there a success story that you can share that you're particularly proud of in your career or in your life? Is there anything exciting going on right now that you're excited about?
Twins on the way.
There you go. There you go. You know what? That's a beautiful thing, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, you've been in real estate, married for a number of years now. 10. Now you have kids. 10 years now. You have kids on the way. Twins.
Twins.
And where's your head at right now? Like in terms of thinking about the future, the kids. Like where do you think you're right now? Are you kind of like, I don't know what to expect yet till they arrive?
Yeah, that's always their twins, right? Everyone's sitting there scaring me, like, oh, twins, you're not going to sleep, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to let it be, right? Let it come, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's exciting, for sure. It's a good question because I haven't thought of it that much. Right?
Okay, so you've been trying to be focused on...
Just focus. I've been telling the wife to let them bake.
Just keep them in the oven as long as they need to be, right?
The work's kind of busy right now. It's like, let's try to do as much as possible. This is the due date, so let's not let them come out early.
They're going to be coming at the spring market, right?
It's right before the spring market. Perfect timing, right?
Perfect timing.
Yeah, it's okay.
Your phone's going to be going off the hook. Congratulations. Yeah, what can I help you with? That kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Go ahead.
But when it comes to sales, like you asked that question, I always go back to it's my first development sale, right? Just being able to achieve that when you've been turned down by so many people, right?
Yep.
That was the hardest part to get into this was rejection, right? What have you sold? Well, you don't know what you're talking about. When you've sold something, come back to us. So when you actually do your first one and you put these big signs up, it's just like one of those proud moments, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what? After all this rejection, you got to do it. Like you actually ended up doing this.
Yeah.
Right? It's a great feeling. And I always go back to that. It doesn't matter what the dollar value was or whatnot, but it was like for me, you did it. Right?
That's
and then you just kind of roll off of that. And it's crazy. And that one sign, how much of a difference it could make.
Is it in the market or just yourself as well? Both ways?
No, in the market, even for people that know you, that drive by, like, oh, we saw you sold that, right? So, and then just with that one sign, people think, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's finally figured it out, even though you've been...
Or even people that I've never talked to, like, oh, you sold that site there. Yeah, sold it.
Sold it. Yeah.
But inside, it's a great feeling. Yeah,
100%. Because they don't know about like all the hard work and that time you put in.
And the rejection. Rejection was the worst. Like even the people guys just like, but then there's people out there trying to help you too.
Right.
Right.
Speaking of rejection, like, I mean, how thick-skinned do you have to be to become a realtor? Especially, dealing with the type of deals that you're dealing with.
Very thick.
Very thick, right? Yeah.
It's not even just rejection. It's just rejection. You get these deals under contract. You have to learn that, hey, everything's not going to stick, right? And you have to keep on writing. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, shit, I wrote this. This guy's really, this buyer is solid. We're going to get this thing done, and they don't remove subjects. Like, 60 days just went by. Now I'm starting from scratch. So we've kind of learned you got to keep writing daily. You can't just be, I have the subject removed in 60 days, 90 days. You sit there and wait. You have to keep writing because not all these stick, right? And not all of them complete. That's when it hurts the most, like I said, right? So you have to be able to bear it, right?
Yeah.
And over time, you build a flow and stuff just comes. It's not easier. You take on more of a challenge. But you need super tough skin to be doing this, even on the residential side, like to actually get in front of people, pick up a listing, take buyers. Sometimes you're taking buyers out for months, and then you find that they bought something for someone else. Stings, right?
Yeah,
oh,
sure.
You know, I just
you built that relationship
you
with
built
them.
a relationship. You've been talking to them the whole family. You're taking them in your car. You're driving around, and
Yeah.
what? You
bought a
call them, oh,
house?
we bought something. What do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, what did you buy? And then in the beginning, you could double end when I first started. So like,
You
oh,
help
we
them out
talked to the
and sell, yeah.
realtor, but they don't understand that what they've done, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, the guy said they're probably saving 20 grand. Right?
Yeah.
You know, they said just write the deal through us, we'll get it done. A lot of that was happening, right? And then you learn, okay, you got to go sit down with your clients and go through this, and that, you know, it doesn't cost you anything. You'll still get that deal, maybe something even better, but you have to let your realtor work for you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a lot of people were just not aware of the process and how things work, right?
Correct.
And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
You were talking about how one of those key points, I'll get back to it. Let's talk about how you develop thick skin. You know, some people are born with it. Some people have to develop it. Do you feel like you had to develop thick skin, or was it something that you feel like you always had growing up?
I think you have to develop it.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's born with tough skin. I think you have to be in situations, learn, go through stuff for you to build that. If you're saying, no, I was born with tough skin, no, you weren't. You know, you might have some genes in you that, you know, you're tougher physically, but
I don't like to think anything, right? Yeah.
So, going back to that question,
how do you feel like you developed your thick skin? Like, what made you say, you know what, I'm going to do this? Was it just trial and error, just keep falling on your face, picking yourself up, and that's how you developed it, or was it some other method?
Yeah, trial and error. You know, you have to. One thing I always, and I said it here a couple times, you got to keep throwing the ball against the wall.
Yeah.
And it's going to stick.
Yeah.
Right? You can't throw yourself down.
Yeah.
Right? Keep your head up. Just keep, it is what it is. Right?
Okay.
And you're going to be thrown down all the time. You just get up and just throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball.
Yeah.
And it's, over time, you just learn. Right? You create this. Okay. This is what we're going to do here now. Right? It's different if you're going to walk away from something. Right? But now you've committed. So when you commit to something, you have to build yourself in a way to, okay, now I got to live it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So
one thing I noticed about you is, you know, I'll go to the gym for a few months or a year, a couple of years, and sometimes I'll step back for a little bit and kind of indulge, right? You have a little bit of some of those similar patterns, whether it's going to be with business or it's just life reasons, right? Do you feel like exercising or keeping a healthy mind plays a large part in this role?
100%.
Yeah.
Every morning.
Every morning. Yeah. You're doing training at, is it Ola Fitness?
Ola Fitness right
Ola
now.
Fitness?
Yeah, Ola Fit for Life. I've been there for a couple of years now, but I've been same thing, hopping from trainer to trainer.
Yeah.
We've been here consistent. We have a good group there. So it's not like it depends on who you're working out with as well.
Yeah.
You know, so me and my
You want to give a shout out to some of those guys that work out with you so they know?
me, Gary, Sonu, there's a lot of us. So I'm not going
to call all the guys on his team. He's like, all the guys on my team.
No, but my partner is Sonu. So, you know,
Sonu Hoti,
Sonu Hoti work together. We've been working together for the last 6 years, but we started mornings for the last 2 years. So we work out in the morning together, whether about 6:30, 7 a.m. We get an hour and a half in the morning. Just kind of good routine to start. You get a fresh mind, you get a good sweat in. I think that's key, you know, to keeping a healthy, active mind. Because when you're not working out, your body's doing the same.
Yeah.
Right? Like your mind's doing the same. It's sluggish.
Scattered? You feel scattered?
You're just sluggy. You're just, okay, slow start. You get out, slowly roll out of bed, take a shower. Here, we're like, latest we're at the office is 10. You know, I try to go by 9. Yeah. Right? But my wife's pregnant, so I have to walk the dog in the morning.
My wife's pregnant, so I got to walk the dog. I know what you mean, right? You got to help out.
30-minute delay in the morning nowadays, but, you know,
100%.
I try 9:30, be in the office.
Yeah.
Right?
What time are you out of the office? That's up in the air.
You know, it's up in the air. Depends. Some days you're out later, some days earlier.
Yeah. You probably have you seen times that you're out of the office like at midnight?
No, not recent, no.
No, but in the past when you're trying to go
working from home.
So you're working all hours a day,
So I have a full office set up at home as well. So if we need it, you know, you jump into the office and
get whatever you need to get done there, right? Okay. All right, so we talked about taking care of yourself.
But that's another thing about taking care of yourself. You need to have somewhat of a schedule.
Schedule's important. You're a routine person.
You know, you could sidetrack and work till midnight, like you said, right? And I used to do it. Like, oh, I'm working till 10 o'clock, till 11 o'clock. Then in the morning, you're trying to get up. You need to kind of schedule that as well. There's going to be days where you're going to have meetings late, you're working a little bit later, but for the most part, set yourself a schedule, right? I'm up every day at 5 a.m., right? 4:45, 5, I have my alarm set. But I want to end my day because you need to have a work-life balance as well.
Right.
Right? Otherwise, that's when your work starts affecting stuff at home because you have no time. Or you're just going to keep working, right?
Yeah.
So that's it's very important to do.
I'm gonna also interject here. You know, I think a lot of the viewers don't realize what we mean by work-life balance. I think for us, I can speak for myself. When we say work-life balance, you know, working for a year straight, weekends, evenings, this and that, and then we kind of tone it down to maybe, you know what, we're gonna leave the office at 6, but we're still gonna be there on a Saturday or a Sunday. That's not a normal balance, I don't think, for most people, because most people it's like 9 to 5, I'm out, no calls after that. It's like you're still taking calls.
Only
You're still
on.
so it's like, but the balance for us is more like, okay, well, I want to be with my family at least, because you're probably taking calls on dates. Remember that trip in Dubai?
Yeah.
Where's the balance there?
I've been trying to get better at that. Right?
But so that's a type of a balance, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And I also, you notice that too, right?
Yeah. No, so you can never get away from it.
No,
but if you can be present.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, that's right.
To be present at home. Yeah, my phone's gonna ring. I'm gonna take the call.
Yes.
Right. You can't piss off your clients.
Yeah, 100%. So you're always gonna be connected to people
at all times, right? You're on
Yeah.
vacation. You're gonna take calls. You're sitting on the couch watching TV. You can take calls, answer messages. Your emails come to your phone now. It's fairly easy to reply to people.
Yes.
But you do have to be present. But I'm just saying, like, physically.
You don't have to be in the office as much as people.
Yes. Right? And it's not, I don't have to be. You could sit there at the office and do work for as many hours as you
Correct.
want. But you have to have some sort of a cutoff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, now I'm going to go home. I have kids coming. Like, that's, okay, we were talking about this changes. Like, that's one change I want to make. Okay, we're going to have 2 kids. A, I have to take some time off.
Yeah.
B, I'm going to have to make time for them as well. Before, it's just 2 of us.
Yeah.
Right?
You're accustomed to that lifestyle too, in a sense. So
Exactly. They're going to have activities as they grow. You know, you want to be a part of it. You don't want to be absent, right? And those years, you hear it all the time. Like, you're on Instagram scrolling. Like, these years you were absent. These years of their life. Now they don't even care about you. You know.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy.
There from here to here. Absolutely. Did you feel like now? Okay, how much of that thought process? Because it looks like we thought about it. Has that applied to the last 7-8 months of your life mentally? Like, how much have you thought about, man, I got to really step up my health here, or I got to step up my business, or separate myself for a little period of time? How much of that has played a role?
Not separate,
Or-
but yeah,
You know what I
definitely
mean?
it's on your mind. So you
Yes.
think about it, right? Before it's just the 2 of us. You go for date night. You know, you're home a couple of days a week.
Yeah.
That's enough, right? But now it's like, okay, you're adding 2. Right?
Yeah. It's too,
You know, they need to be fed, etc. So you can't be doing it all.
right.
So you're always thinking like, okay, you're gonna have to make time for this. How are you gonna schedule it? We checked out daycares already, and it's like, I know we're way ahead, but these things come.
It's a good time to check, man.
right?
think,
So
yeah.
even if we don't want to put them in till they're 2 or 18, whatever it may be, just it's on the back of your mind, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna need help,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. I mean, like, let's talk a little bit about the type of clientele you have as well, the developer clients, right?
Okay.
I think it's, for me, to get to know, we don't need to know who the clients' names are, but do you feel like there's a certain, we talked about this as well, is there a certain level of, like, maybe are they business owners, most of the developers, or they could be just, general people that have 9-to-5 jobs, that have paid off their homes? What type of demographic of people do you feel like are purchasing these type of developmental properties?
Oh,
Is it a wide array of people?
No, majority of the guys are in the construction business,
Okay.
right? They may have other cash flow businesses on the side,
Yeah.
but the majority of the business is in construction.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that save up 9 to 5 and buy stuff, they're more of an investor client,
Got it.
right? They're going to hold land.
Mm-hmm.
And then the builders come in or developers come in at a certain point where it's closer to development. They'll pick it up and then they'll take it through the process, right?
Okay.
So there's 2 tiers to it, right? There's some guys in calls, we just want to hold land for 10 years. We don't care.
As that should be a normal hold for somebody that's looking to be an investor. What should their thought process be when they're buying a property? Should it be a 10-year plan for an investor client?
It depends.
Developmental land.
It depends on their mindset.
Okay.
Right? Some guys say we don't even care to develop it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care how far out it is. It's going to keep growing.
So
Right?
there's like a nest egg.
Yeah. And then the other guys like, okay, let's look at something where if there's NCP done, let's go right beside it because we know the NCP is going to come in next.
Mm-hmm.
Right? NCP, neighborhood concept plan. So the
Yeah.
cities make these plans before you know what you're going to do and you know
Right.
what densities you're going to get, et cetera, et cetera. They change even once they're made.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they
Right.
do.
Like we're seeing it now. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
Transit oriented, et cetera, right? And then there's some guys that go to NCPs here, still going to take 10 years for services to come here, or 5 years, let's buy something in there. So there's even tiers to those type of guys,
yeah. Okay.
right? It all depends on the type of investor. And then when it comes to developers want to, their job is practically to turn this product around, build it out, or take it through the process, get approvals, and then a builder comes in and takes it, right? And no one's ever married to anything,
No.
right? So even a developer, like, I have a better opportunity to offload this. Let's go.
Let's go, right?
Yeah.
You feel like that a lot of developers do it, buy something offload. They're not really emotionally invested.
No one's. That's one thing you learn. No one's gonna actually. I can't say no one. People do take it through the whole process.
Yeah.
But what we've seen is land grew so quick in the last little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw the same piece of the land change hands so many times, right?
Mm-hmm.
One guy's done with it. He's made his dollar figure out. Let's move it. He could go buy something else. It's a ladder, right?
Yep.
And it just changes hands. So
All right. Let's talk a little bit deeper about that. Just a couple of different things. Say somebody is a 9-to-5 person. They've have, a couple $100,000 owing on their home. They bought it maybe a decade, 2 decades ago, and they're thinking about purchasing some sort of developmental land with future use, or they want to buy something to hold. What's your advice to somebody that's in that thought process? What they should be thinking about? How long should they be holding for, or is it a good move to do it now in this market?
I think right now, if someone can do it, is the best time to do it.
Yeah.
Before we see the interest rates come down.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we know the trend. Rates come down, the market goes up. It just
Especially here.
We don't have enough inventory.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to purchasing, a piece of development land, it all comes down to numbers, right? We have to run it for them. Okay, you're going to be holding this piece for 15 years. This is what the cost is going to be on it. Now, if you're leveraging your primary residence to do so, you have to take that into equation as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what this is going to cost. Okay, just to pick up the X amount of dollars off your line of credit or refi your home, your payment's going to be X.
Can you do it?
And then plus over here, because those development properties usually do not carry themselves, right?
They
Whereas
usually
if
do
you're
not.
buying a condo, rent will usually, pay for itself. Now you're going into the $1 million, rates.
Yeah.
What does it cost for $1 million right now?
Yeah, it's going to be like almost 5.5 to
So now you're
6.8%.
Okay, so now you're taking $1 million off your house.
Yeah.
Right. So but those guys will know because they know what they make. They know what they're going to bring in.
Yep.
It's actually easier for them to take a look at that equation and make a decision.
All right, so somebody that has a developmental property now, let's just say they bought it 10, 15 years ago.
Yep.
What's your advice to them? Nothing has changed yet. They're thinking about buying something further. Should they sell this and buy something that's bigger parcel at this time? Should they make that jump up? What do you think?
Definitely.
Definitely.
If you've held it for 15 years, you've gone through like a 3-4 cycles already.
Yeah.
Right. So your land has gone from where maybe you bought it for 200 grand.
Yeah.
You're in the millions now. Like I'm talking about probably depending on the piece of land.
Location, right? Yeah.
Right. The amount of equity you've already built into that property, it's probably in your best interest to move that and then do it all over again if that's your plan. Go further out.
And do you feel like a lot of people do it? They just recirculate it, go higher and higher and higher, or some people just get out and just go, I'm going to Hawaii.
People,
That's it. I'm done.
A lot of people, it's funny, a lot of people that have been sitting on the land for that long, and, I've seen it, like guys that worked in mills, or sometimes you pull title and you go retired, and then you go talk to them. That was it. That was their one and done.
Yeah.
They bought it for 200K back when 200K was a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
They cashed out at 20 million, and that's it. They set their kids up, and they're done. The kids want to do something, they could do something, but you usually see them just exit.
Okay.
right?
And developmental clients. Okay, I want to go a little bit into that. There's always a different personality or a different type of person that buys. You know, I can't. How do I phrase this properly? How do you feel like most developmental clients' risk appetite? What are they kind of like? It's like, okay, if you're gonna say I'm gonna draw out a developmental person here, you can't really draw them, but you know what I mean. Like their personality is gonna be like this. They're usually
Everyone's different.
everybody's just different,
Everyone's
right?
different. I can't say what a developer.
You
has
kind of
certain
know what I'm
personality.
trying to get at, or is it just
Their risk tolerance.
Yes,
It's there.
it's there. It's there. They're fully prepared.
They're fully prepared. Their risk tolerance is there.
They're not living hand to mouth, that type of thing. They basically have,
At certain times, maybe they are,
and they're okay with that.
They're okay, but they know what they're doing. But not all. You know what? At any point, you don't know what's gonna come at you.
Yeah.
Delays could throw you right off, right?
Yeah.
When you have a plan, okay, this is my 12-month exit strategy, and it takes 48 months. Now you're strapped, and you have other commitments you've made, right?
Yeah.
So you're not gonna win at all times, but you talk to any developers, guys that have been doing it 20 plus years, they've seen this. They went through that spiral.
In 2008,
So the way they look at stuff is totally different, right? They're gonna sit back, watch the market, make sure they're good, and make moves accordingly.
And what do they say? Especially like you said, they've been through cycles, because we all know real estate is cyclical, and there's a lot of stuff happening on the news right now that may be confusing us.
Yeah.
What is somebody like that saying? Like, what do they say? You know what? I know this, MANRAJ.
Never overextend yourself.
That's true. So okay.
No, like you should always have a contingency.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna purchase X, Y, Z. Make sure I have 2 years set aside, to take this thing through the process or whatever it may be. Right? The rule of thumb: you won't go dry for 2 years. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So like 2-year, 24-month plan is what they plan for.
Exactly. You should have a 24-month plan.
Mm.
Can I drive this property for do I have enough set aside for this property to take it through whatever I need to take it through? And the market may shift. I might not be able to move it. At least 2 years of carrying costs should be put aside.
They call it the winters of the market. Are we almost out of winter? You feel like, or it's kind of?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Right? Is there movement out there? People are excited about the market. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people have been sitting on the sidelines
For 2 years.
For 2 years. 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
And it's been eating at people for a while, because when you go through a market where it's just been going up, and then we had a little, when they announced that tax that one time, it went down a bit for a couple months.
2017,
and it came back up, right? That was just a scare.
Yeah.
Did it really affect the market? No. Then COVID came.
Good point.
That was 3 months.
3 months of a scare during like the world pandemic.
Yeah, March, April, May. Still remember.
Yes.
I was
Everybody's trying to reorganize their life. Some people are like, okay, do I go to stock market? What kind of other job do I do?
whatever you have put in your savings account, hopefully it lasts.
At that time, the free money started coming out, right?
And okay, then the government started giving free money out, and then we saw just a quick turn in the market. Something that at that time we weren't prepared for. You know, like it was, you don't want to call anybody and bother them. Pandemic. What are you guys doing calling us? Like, you see what's going on out there, right?
You don't want to be that person.
So
right?
you don't want to be that guy. So it's like, okay, we were prepared just to sit back, and out of nowhere, the phone just started, interest rates started dropping, and it's just like, okay, let's gear up now, right?
Yeah.
But
biggest bull run.
Yeah, and then you just run with it, right? And it went like, okay, it's gonna be 6 months. No, even on Christmas Day, you know, you're just like, what's going on, right?
Yeah.
The strongest December, like that whole, it was like what, 18 months of just like go, and the prices are just going incline, right?
Every month is a record.
Every day.
Yeah.
Like you didn't even know when you're bidding, you're just like, okay, like.
This guy sold the next day, sells for around 200 grand more.
Exactly, and you're just trying to watch it, and you're like, you can't even watch it. Like, what's your, you know, what do you think about this? I was like, you know, it's probably going to go over.
Probably going to go over. How do you even do a market evaluation?
You can't.
Yeah.
Right? At that point, your neighbor sold this, you might as well just list it at the same price. We'll see.
Let's see what happens. Sell for 200 grand more, right?
Yeah, so there, to be honest, at that point, your evaluations were kind of like, it's going to sell.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? It's going to sell. Well, you can't ridiculously price it. But like if some in the neighborhood, there's a recent sale, you're probably going to get more than that person, right?
Well, cost of borrowing was so much lower at the time. And people, I think a lot of people, my clients that I talk to them, or many people in general, they were thinking, well, they're saying they're not going to increase rates for a long time. So what does long time mean? It turned out 6 more months. It wasn't 2 more years or 3 more years. So, and then they went up the fastest they went up in, I think it's 20 years, right? Or whatever that number was. And I think that really pulled the rug underneath a lot of people's feet. Like quite literally.
For sure. 100%. And the way they went up, right? It was one after another after another. I know guys' payments, banks calling them, you have to increase your payment now. And you go back to when, and then all industries are failing at this point, right? Like everything's slow. Restaurant business, trucking industry,
a lot of businesses.
Construction slow. What do we run off of here? Construction.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's in, majority of the people are in the construction industry here.
Yeah.
What else do we have here? It's not a lot, right?
Yeah, but we got like, we got a little bit of the fisheries with the ports, that kind of thing, but
But even that, it's driven, so if there's nothing,
nothing to build.
Nothing to build, there's no product coming in, the ports are slow, right?
Yeah.
It all plays hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's like a balancing act, right?
So now you have an increase of payments, slower workloads or drop significantly. Everyone's going to feel the pinch.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, this is something that's maybe just something I want to know about. And I think a lot of people think, you've dealt with a lot of developers, people that are worth $50, $100 million, probably very common for you to deal with them, whether it's a real estate asset rich or they have cash, they have liquid rich.
Yep.
How many people do you feel like in that I guess income level or wealth bracket are gonna be kind of flaunting their wealth? Would you say a lot of them are driving? I'm not gonna say anything issue with Ferraris, Lamborghinis, like are they doing that kind of stuff, or you just can't even tell that person has money? How much have you seen of that?
No, they all.
I know it's a mixed bag, but have you seen both ends of the spectrum?
Yeah, for sure. Some guys don't like to show it at all. Right?
Yeah.
But
Give me a story of somebody that you kind of seen like that. It's like you would never, ever have known this guy has, X amount of money.
It's a guy drives a Corolla still, right?
What year? Like the 2000s?
Oh, dude, I saw his fob one day and I was like, what are you driving?
Because people would think, well, you're going to have a Bugatti or something. That's what developers are going to be driving. But he's driving a Toyota Corolla.
It's probably like one of those 19 or early 2000.
19?
Corollas, like a 2002. Remember those gold ones? There's so many of them.
I know exactly my mind.
You used to do cars. You used to do car sales, right?
Yeah. Those gold Corollas, yeah.
Remember, there's just abundance of them out there.
Yes.
So one of those
bulletproof car.
Exactly.
He's driving that.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think?
Not even a Camry. Not even like it's just. He's
probably manual windows.
Oh, he's worth a pretty penny. Yeah. So
roughly
at least a couple $100 million.
Couple $100 million.
Yeah, but most you wouldn't even see him walking around and be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
What kind of lifestyle does he live?
Chill. Yeah.
Worth $200 million roughly. Drives at 19 something.
It's like early 2000s. I'm not saying
fair enough.
Right. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Over a 20-year-old Corolla, and he's worth $200 million. So I mean, I think a lot of people have it confused that wealth, you have to be doing this. Of course, we want to have nice things, but there's a lot of wealthy people. Never judge.
But I think you should.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Right? You want to enjoy it, but like, how does he enjoy it? You think?
He's an interesting guy, right?
Yeah.
So that's.
I also knew another person as well that has a lot of wealth, and I remember working at the dealership. He pulled up in it was a gold car again. It was a gold VW Jetta.
Okay.
And I just a middle-aged gentleman, and he's wearing like just a normal, dress pants and like a sweater. And I'm like, oh, hey, uncle, how are you? You have anything? He's, I'm here to see the owner of the dealership. I'm like, okay. And super nice guy. And turns out he ends up leaving. And I'm not going to say his name. The guy's probably worth over $100 million as well. And he's just a humble guy, just walking in. Turns out he's the owner's brother. And I'm like,
I was going to guess that.
Yeah. He's the owner's brother. I'm serious, the owner. And I'm like, wow. Then, I was talking to some of the guys there, and they're like, yeah, he's worth over $100 million. This is a 2017.
Yeah,
2016, 2015.
Yeah.
That's over almost 10 years ago. And I'm like, whoa, over $100 million. And at that time, of course, different scope of things. And you start realizing now he's probably worth double or triple that.
Yeah.
But that put things in my perspective, because I used to think, man, a lot of guys are, they don't really show it. Just because you have money doesn't mean you have to show it. That being said, There's a stat that I was reading. A lot of some of the most wealthiest people drive. Guess what kind of vehicle? Just guess. Not a Corolla. Don't say Toyota Corolla. Pickup trucks.
F-150.
There you go. What do you drive? F-350?
F-350.
Super rich guy over here.
No. The richest drive the F-150.
The richest drive the F-150.
We have to make ourselves feel good, right?
But okay, the nicer truck, right? But isn't that interesting though? Like, you probably, because after did you have any sort of idea that like, I got to find this type of client. He's got to look like this. Like, did you have to find the clients before?
I think when you enter the industry and you start working with people, you don't paint a picture of what kind of client you're going to see or what this client's going to look like, or you can't paint a picture to it. It's you already know walking into a meeting usually. Okay, this is how this person's going to be, or you heard it from somebody else, or so you're not saying, oh, this guy's going to pull up in a Lambo. This is this person, right? But you walk and you'll see a lot more humbleness than there is.
How much money they actually have, right? So super down to earth.
Yeah,
they don't really show.
You can't judge anybody off of what they pull up in.
Absolutely, right? Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, being in the industry that I'm in, you're able to see a lot of people's personal assets and things like that, right? And I've been blown away by just connecting with people over the years, having the privilege to, and to see how genuine and a lot of down to earth people they are. How down to earth people are when they have that amount of wealth, because you'll see like on either YouTube or TikTok, like if you have a couple of $1 million, you're supposed to be showing it like doing this and that, and people live their life differently, and I think that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. I think it comes back down to when you're risking X amount of dollars at all times, right?
You got brass balls to be doing that, man.
Right? That $1 million car might just put you under.
That's a liability. It's not even an asset. It's a huge liability.
That's gonna hurt you more. You know it on the lending side.
Yes.
Than a couple $1 million worth of real estate transaction, right?
Like 100%.
They see that on the file. They go, "Fuck."
I got a 700K Aventador over here, and he's trying to buy this car. It's like, what do I get rid of now, right? It's like, okay, let's get rid of this car. Too much of a liability, right? So, what about yourself? What's your goals for the next? Where do you see yourself in 10 years in this business?
I don't know. That's a good
You're going to
question.
be in the business?
Yeah, probably.
Lifelong?
I think I would never get out of the business. At 10 years, I still won't tone it down. Yeah. I think the goal is to go,
kick it up a notch.
We're still got to kick it up a notch, right? Yeah. We've had some, this interest rate thing kind of messed up what we were supposed to hit last year.
Yeah.
We had the pandemic, which was a great year when it was unexpected.
Yeah.
So, you set these goals that we're going to do X amount, we're going to do this and this and this and this. But it all comes down to obviously going out and they're hunting it. But the goal is for the next, at least, now I got kids coming, I got to take them at least till they're 18.
Till they're 18. Then they're done and they're on their own?
Yeah. No, I don't know about that. We'll see, right? We'll see how they turn out.
You got to be good kids, right?
The goal is to amp it up for sure. Right? Like,
right,
you want to take your business to the next level at any point. It doesn't matter where you are. If you think you can't be content with it, is I think the right word.
Yeah.
You can never be content with, okay, I'm okay with just this. No, then you're not pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Right. I was just listening to something this morning, and they were like, the wealthiest people go, they could go down to zero and make it back up 10 times quicker, and they'll do it. And they'll probably build it bigger.
Why? Okay, that's a really good point you made. And I hear this all the time, and I believe it. Yeah. What do you think the reason for that is now that they can do it? Let's just say you were taken away from all your money, put back in the city that you grew up in. How could you make it back again?
Well, I've done, so it's just one of those things, even when I started now, I didn't have anything,
Yeah.
I was working a 9 to 5, lifting boxes.
Yeah.
And I had to figure it out. But I did it once now, so I would probably do it probably quicker now. You still have the connections.
Because you have the knowledge.
You have the knowledge, right?
Yes.
When you go into something without any knowledge and you haven't seen anything, but now you've lost it all and you're back in that position, I think you just go back to square one and be like, okay, this is what I did, but what did I do wrong when I did it last time? Mm-hmm. And you just go, and you run with it. Experience. It all comes back down to experience, right?
Right. Streamlined it afterwards, right? You know what not to do now.
Yeah. So you just take that out of the equation and you take what worked and you run with it.
Okay, that's a great point. Is there any podcast, movie, significant person, anybody that kind of motivates you, or anything that's kind of motivated you over the years?
I actually, you know what? It's funny. I was reading that earlier.
You couldn't think of anything.
I know, because I like, you'll go on Instagram or social media and scroll through some, memes or TikToks or like these motivational quotes that come up. You read them, you absorb them, and see if something sticks to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But is there like a podcast I sit there and listen to? No.
Or a movie over growing up? Nothing.
No. Happy Gilmore was my favorite movie.
This guy's a G. This guy's a G. So was that the one where they say you can do it? No, that was a different one with
Adam Sandler. Yeah. So my wife told us days, I was like, what do you get out of this guy's movie? I was like, I don't know. I'll watch Happy Gilmore tomorrow and I'll have a great time.
I love Adam Sandler movies. That guy's movies, they like literally let you turn your brain off.
Yeah.
Because you're going in there knowing this is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's mindless. You don't need to think about it.
Don't need to think about it. Because there's so much shit you have to think about in life as it is, especially the industry and the caliber of things you're dealing with. It's probably kind of nice to say.
I love watching shit TV. Like, like dumb stuff. Just sit there and like, I don't need to even, I could leave for half an hour, come back and I didn't miss anything. Right? So.
I love that. I appreciate that honesty, man, because at the end of the day, you could have said something that wasn't true and incongruent, but the fact that you're saying, honestly, I want stuff to take me away a little bit, a little bit of escape, right?
Like mentorship, there's people out there that you sit down with like more than others and you learn from their, I think, experience of real life people.
Yeah.
Right? Where you could sit down and have a conversation with. That's, where you learn the most, right? There's a lot of people we talk to almost daily that have all these experiences in life. You take that and absorb that as way more than listening to somebody that, on a podcast. And that's what I believe. I know a lot of people listen to podcasts. They follow certain people.
Yeah.
That works for them, right?
So it sounds like you're talking about somebody in your network.
No, multiple people. It's not just one person. There's people that we talk to almost on the daily, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe not every day, but at least in the week. And when you get to sit down with them and you listen to their life experiences or not even their whole, like whatever, last 10 years, what they've done or et cetera, what mistakes they made, what they wouldn't have done.
So basically, that's actually a really good point. It doesn't have to be just because, you're not really into movies or podcasts or, just viewing online things. You're actually doing real world experience and real world relationships and applying that.
I find benefit in that.
That's a good segue over to your slogan for your MB Real Estate Group, turning transactions into relationships. I asked a few friends of mine recently, how much do you find that a friend? Oh, sorry, let me rephrase this. What do you think about this saying? A client will become a friend sooner than a friend will become a client.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I've had it probably with all of our clients, right? Majority of, I can't say all.
Majority of, right?
Some clients aren't happy, they're not happy, right? It is what it is.
But you're saying a majority of them turned into relationships, right?
Yeah, because I don't know, I love just getting on the phone, even if I'm driving, it's not about the music, I just pick up the phone, call somebody.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not always about business. I'm not sitting there like, I just be, okay, what's going on, right? Just shoot the shit.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot. You could probably go talk to some of our clients as well, same thing. It's not just always I'm trying to sell them something.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we've done sales. They're probably going to call me anyways.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's more beneficial. So you build a friendship, whatever, go for coffee, this and that. Mm-hmm. But you don't always have to be talking about business with them. Right? I think and it's not just, and it comes natural. I'm not doing it as of, this is how I'm going to pick them up as a client. No, it's not that. It's just natural. I haven't talked to this person in a bit. Let's give them a call.
See what they're up to, right?
Right? And that gives them like, he just called me. You know what I mean? But I was just doing it. I'm driving. I could listen to music or I could listen to a podcast or I could call somebody.
Yeah.
Right? And just touch base. It's not always about, selling. They should remember you at that point.
So have you always been like that? Or is that something you just applied or just naturally just do it?
Naturally, I don't know. Even like hanging out with buddies or whatever, someone calls me, I'm not going to be like, it's like the last. I'm all gonna come. Oh yeah, whatever, let's go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It just comes naturally.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then this turning transactions into relationships. I actually hired this lady a while back, and she had to like answer this 100 question questionnaire. You know, sat there, actually thought about it,
Mm-hmm.
and she came up with this. This is what your slogan should be
Based off of the
based
assessment.
off that assessment.
Wow.
She said, "What do you think about it?" I was like, "You know what, that sticks."
Yeah. And you actually apply that to your life now too.
Yeah.
So you're always reaching out to your clients as well, still building the
Even before
relationship.
that, I was
Yeah.
right. Someone's let's go on a trip. I'm always like, yeah, let's go.
Turning transaction relationships into vacations, right?
Yeah, anything. It's with everybody, right? It's not just with clients or with friends. Anybody. Just been. That's the way I am. I
That's
guess.
awesome.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? And I think that's how you and I get connected as well. Like we know each other for a few years, but every time we see each other, it's always like, hey, what's up? And it's like we just start connecting again.
Yeah.
And you know what? You gave me an opportunity to sit down with you as well, one of the first guys as well, and that's why I wanted to bring you on here because you know what? Your time is valuable. Everybody's time is valuable, but you still make time for people.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like to get rejected.
You appreciate the hustle too, right? You're like, you know, I get it. Let's do it.
Yeah, like somebody's calling me. I'm gonna go see him.
Let's go see him, right?
Why would I say no?
100%, right? All right. I think we're approaching the end of this podcast. Session number 2 with you. We'll do more.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get the team on next time. We'll get
We
Sonu Hoti
100%.
spin some facts, right? Okay, so we talked about upcoming ventures. We got the babies on the way, so we wish you the best of luck with that. I'll be connecting with you on that as well.
Thank you.
How can the listeners and the viewers get connected with you? Let's talk about, of course, mbrealestategroup.com. Is that what it is?
MANRAJBains.ca, actually. I should get that.
You don't have that one yet? Okay, no problem.
I don't have MB Real Estate Group. I've had MANRAJBains.ca since I started.
Okay, perfect.
So we just,
use that one, okay.
But if you Google MB Real Estate Group, it'll pop up, and then you
Perfect.
click on it. Just leads you to that.
There you go. There's a segue to that as well. And Instagram, Facebook.
Manraj Bains,
Okay.
MB Real Estate Group for Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Personal Facebook's just my name.
Okay.
Email manrajbains@remax.net.
Phone number. Let's get the phone number.
778-840-4092.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Beautiful, man. It's been awesome, man. Thank you. Thanks for coming on today, bro.
Thanks for having me.
100%. Wicked. Let's get it done.